Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we're going to be going over my Wildcard Tournament. I ended up going 6-1 in this tournament, and it is for a bid to Continentals. Only first place would get there. So I hope y'all enjoy, and definitely subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and it lets me know that you like the content I'm putting out. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so the team that I ended up going with was Toxicroak, Hypno, Froslass, Beedrill, Azumaril, and Alolan Muk. So first of all, just the first thing to note here is that we are doing this right after Beedrill Community Day, so Beedrill does have Drill Run on it. So our opponent has almost the same team except Toxicroak taken out and added Noctowl in. We decided to start Froslass. Our opponent also starts Froslass. I decided I'm not going to go for the bait at all. And he doesn't shield it, so this is already a huge plus. Obviously, taking out a Pokemon in the mirror match is always a plus. Means that we have Pokemon advantage, and I actually end up switching out of the Dark Pulse here into my own Alolan Muk to eat that, which is going to be resisted. Now he comes in with Noctowl. He's already down the shield from the Avalanche, and even in the one shield even energy matchup, Alolan Muk is going to beat Noctowl. But I decide I'm just going to go straight Dark Pulse there, just to either take the shield or just do neutral damage in either case. And once he takes, I'm just going to let Alolan Muk go because I know that I can always come in with Froslass here and then farm down or throw Avalanche, whichever one I feel like I need to do. I don't want to use a shield here, which is why I end up actually throwing early. And they're going to come in with Alolan Muk. Yes, Alolan Muk does counter Froslass, but the matchup's a lot closer than you think it is, just because the Avalanches do so much damage, you see right there. Plus, we had Azumaril on the back, which also kind of has a decently... It's like a neutral matchup against Alolan Muk. If you land a Sludge Wave on Alolan Muk, you have the advantage. If you don't, then Azumaril does have the advantage. And you might have noticed there, my Azumaril actually has Ice Beam instead of Play Rough. I really didn't see a need to go Play Rough. All it really does is win the mirror. Yeah, it does other things, sure, but it really doesn't seem to do that much more than Ice Beam. So I decided I'm going to go Ice Beam, expecting a lot of Noctowls. Luckily, in this match here, we did play against someone who is using a Noctowl. So Beedrill is going to be pretty good against Azumaril here. We're going to throw this Ice Beam. We do get the shield, so now we have a shield advantage, but we are down in Azumaril. But luckily for us, he has an Azumaril as well. So the opponent's Azumaril is always going to be better than ours in the mirror because of that Play Rough, right? So if we can get ours out before going into this long, drawn-out mirror match that we most definitely will lose, then that's always a plus. So I decided to come back in with Beedrill here instead of coming with Muk and just trying to farm down. I don't want to get hit by the Drill Run because it did have the infestation buff to the attack, and I did not. I just thought it would do a ton of damage and maybe even KO us there. And he comes in with a Azumaril. I'm just going to throw out all the X-Scissors and just any moves I can get off before he throws a move. If he throws a move, oh yeah, he does. Man, we were so close to the X-Scissor right there too. But we have Alolan Muk here in the back. He has Froslass. This is a good matchup, but he's got the shield. But we just need to land one Dark Pulse, I think, to take it out from this range. So we have a big advantage going into here, but we need to get another Dark Pulse, and I think this Azumaril is actually going to throw Hydro Pump here, which would take us out. So 1-1 here in the first round. Already getting sweaty. The battles are very close throughout this entire tournament. I think I go to game 3 5 times. So yeah, these are close battles. And what I really like about Sorcerer's Cup is it doesn't seem super lead dependent. It seems like even if you lose the lead, you can always come back with things like Azumaril or Alolan Muk in the back because there's such neutral matchups against most of the field, or they gain advantages through energy advantage. So if I come in with Muk and get a Snarl or 2 Snarls, all of a sudden I'm beating like 80% of the field, no matter 80% of whatever could come in. So we actually switch out. Oh, no. They switched out. And then we come in with Froslass into their Noctowl here. And you know how this is going to go. The Noctowl is just going to get taken out by the Froslass. We don't even need to do a shield. He comes back in with Beedrill. We're going to throw this Avalanche. Obviously, this is going to be shielded. And going to let the move come in through here. I've decided at this point that Hypno is the win condition. I'm not going to throw any more moves, and we're just going to try to fast attack it down. The Fell Stingers, actually I think I called it Infestation earlier. The Fell Stinger is actually super effective, but you know, Fell Stinger doesn't do too much damage, but you can see how much damage it does here. It's actually a lot because of that super effectiveness, but in general, Fell Stinger doesn't do too much damage. Maybe if they had X-Scissors, they could have KO'd us over the course of those 2 games there, or two charge moves there. So we win against our first round opponent. Second round opponent has pretty much the same team as well, except for Munchlax instead of Toxicroak. I noticed a lot of people use that 6 slot for a normal type, just something that's very a generalist, you know, compared to the rest of the field. So we obviously aren't in a great matchup at the beginning. I end up going into Muk here, and they come back in and counter us with the Azumaril, but we have already gained an energy advantage, so this isn't even a counter to us, and we end up landing the Sludge Wave as well, which means all we need to do is land a Dark Pulse, and then we're good. And I think about switching because I didn't think he would actually come back in with the Froslass here, but in the end I end up letting it go because in my head I was like, oh, Toxicroak's really good against Froslass, but then I remembered, oh, the Ghost typing is actually resisting the fighting, even though the fighting would have been good against the ice. So really big mistake there for me. But I think it actually ended up working out because they bring in Alolan Muk, and I almost switch again. This is why you don't want to switch just instantly. You want to see what they actually come in with, see what you can do against it. So I think he gets us super low here. We swap into Hypno just so that we don't get farmed down and we get a little bit of energy. I actually think this Froslass Shadow Balls us, but I think we survive with like 5% HP. Yeah, Hypno is very tanky. Even Shadow Ball, one of the strongest moves in the game, with Stab and super effective, he still lived through it, which is kind of crazy. So we take game 1 there against King MC. He comes in with Munchlax, so this matchup's actually pretty good for Beedrill. If you ever land a Drill Run, you win the 1 shield. So I think we're going to go up to the Drill Run and then bait with an X-Scissor here. And even if you go straight X-Scissor, it's not that bad. I think you do lose in all shield scenarios, but you can get it down to super low. Come in with your next Mon, farm up, and then use that extra energy gain against the Mon in the back. But he actually ends up switching out. I think he switched out because of the bait, and he didn't want to expend another shield against the Drill Run, possibly later. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He switched out of the Muk matchup. That's actually really interesting because Munchlax actually wins that matchup as long as you can land a Bulldoze. But that means if he shields here, I'm definitely going to shield. Or I just switch out into Azumaril. So, like I said, our Azumarils are worth a little less than our opponents because we're using it sort of as a generalist and an anti-Noctowl. So against his team, he doesn't have Noctowl. The Ice Beam's not as great. It still would be good against things like Beedrill and even Alolan Muk, just as something that doesn't cost as much energy as just going all out on a Hydro Pump and then it getting shielded and then losing on that front. Another thing I want to note is, so like against this opponent, I have not shown him that I have Ice Beam. So I don't want to show Ice Beam if I don't have to. I know I can just take this Body Slam. This match is already done. I can wait the extra 3 turns, throw the Hydro Pump, and make sure that he still doesn't know that I have Ice Beam. Yeah, we already are up 2-0, but just keep that in mind if you're running a weird moveset like that. You don't want to show your opponent if you don't have to. Even like in that situation, it's not even risky for me to do it, but it might seem weird to people because I'm not doing it right away, but you don't have to do everything right away, you know? Alright, so Beedrill versus Muk. All you have to do is land the Drill Run, and the thing is, the X-Scissors actually do a pretty decent amount of damage because it's neutral against the Muk. And I wish I didn't throw there. The thing is, sometimes I seem to get a little scared when they throw in a new Pokemon. And in order to buy time, I just throw a move out. Now, that's always going to be a disadvantage to you when you do that, so you definitely don't want to be doing that as much as possible. So yeah, he comes in with Froslass, we come in with Muk. This is obviously a good matchup, but we've been out-energied here. And he actually is able to take us out there. But we still have a Azumaril in the back, and I can actually farm it all the way down. And then this is where I show that I have Ice Beam. They're probably going to shield either way. This Ice Beam would KO. And then I'm just going to switch over to the Beedrill. I don't even know why. I was thinking, oh, I'll just catch a move on Beedrill. But that's actually not the best idea either. Beedrill's very squishy. And we're going to take this Sludge Wave. And at this point, the thing I'm thinking of is I can only win if I farm this down, and then if I farm down Froslass, and if the thing in the back is somehow super weak to Azumaril. Which I don't even know what on his team I could beat at that point. I'm just too low. Maybe a Beedrill? I don't know. So that was our second round. Third round opponent is using a Glalie instead of Froslass as the Frost type, and then a Noctowl in that 6th slot. So Noctowl here is something we're going to want to use Azumaril with, which is why I bring in my team of 3 here. I decided to start with Alolan Muk. Like I said, this matchup's not too bad. We would need a bait if we want to win it. But let's see if he actually ends up taking this Sludge Wave. So the thing is, if they take this Sludge Wave, I think we do get to the Dark Pulse before they get to another one. But since he double shielded, I'm actually going to try to just catch his move here on my Azumaril and see if he actually wants to switch out of this matchup. At this point, we do have the shield advantage. This Hypno's not the biggest counter. Yeah, we will lose this matchup, but we at least got the Azumaril in, and we got it in when it was good because we have Toxicroak still in the back, and we definitely don't want Toxicroak to take on that Hypno. It's really the biggest thing we're scared of. I guess after that, it would be like Beedrill, and then maybe Noctowl. But Noctowl's not even that scary either, especially since we have the shield. Toxicroak definitely wins that matchup because of the normal typing that Noctowl has. You do need the shield, though, because it will get to a Sky Attack, and if you take the Sky Attack, you will get KO'd. And it looks like I'm going all in on Toxicroak here. And he does have that Noctowl in the back, so this is really good for us. What we will have to do, like I said, is shield the Sky Attack. And then we'll need to farm this down, I think, all the way. But it's easy because it is half normal typing. And if we farm it down all the way, we'll have a Sludge Bomb for that Azumaril still in the back. Now, the Azumaril still is at a high amount of HP. I don't know if this Sludge Bomb will actually KO it. But I think it's at almost no energy as well because it just threw the Play Rough at the Muk, right? Yeah, perfect. I don't remember if we showed the Ice Beam to this opponent in that match. But it looks like we're going back in with Azumaril, so maybe not. Alolan Muk into Munchlax. So you would think this is a good matchup for Muk because Lick is being resisted. The problem is that Body Slam is still going to do a decent amount, but it's really that Bulldoze that I'm going to be super scared of. So as soon as I see that, I come into the Azumaril. He goes into his Azumaril, so I must have shown the Ice Beam because he probably wouldn't normally come into Azumaril here. But, yeah, obviously we're going to lose this, even though we had a huge energy advantage. The Play Roughs are just going to be coming so much faster and doing more damage. Plus, he actually got an extra bubble in during our charge attack there, which is unfortunate to say the least. I think what we do in this match, if I remember right, is I think we actually end up shielding. He has to throw a move at us. To KO us, even if we shield right now. So I decide I'm going to shield right now. Just try to bring this Azumaril all the way down as much as possible. And then have him in the next matchup just get farmed down by whoever, Froslass or Alolan Muk. Both of our 2 Pokemon's fast moves are resisted, so we can at least get 2 in. And then I purposefully throw in Froslass here to catch a Body Slam since we double resist. Or if it was a Bulldoze, take that as well. But, yeah, pretty good switch in, I think. The Munchlax has got to be super low on energy at this point. And I just want to get to a second Shadow Ball here. I don't think this Thunder Punch KOs us. But I should have just thrown the Avalanche while I had it. I really wanted to get to that Shadow Ball. It would have definitely helped us out a lot. It leaves us in a weird predicament here because I can't just throw the move. I need to have enough energy to take on this Munchlax because I think it's still at like 70% HP. But we aren't able to farm down this Hypno before shielding, and he actually still had a ton of energy on that Munchlax. He just farmed up so much in the beginning, and we just couldn't overcome that matchup. So another game 3, like I said, a lot of them in this video, and bad start. Noctowl. We decided to bring in Toxicroak because it's going to have a pretty good matchup against things once it has energy as well. Muk does too, but I think Muk's a little more versatile, so I want to keep him in the back as long as possible. Plus, even though Toxicroak does beat Noctowl in the one shield, it is a little bit of a liability if I run out of shields before that matchup takes place, so I might as well get it out of the way now, right? Although he's going to want to save Noctowl for Beedrill probably, right? Unfortunate, we were one counter away from getting that move off, or from getting the Azumaril out, but yeah, we didn't get there. And I try to catch a Sky Attack, and then he swaps into this Hypno, so this is probably the wrong play because Hypno does beat Beedrill. Yeah, and Muk's going to be able to farm this all the way down. I'm going to take probably a Thunder Punch, but I want to have 2 Dark Pulses for this Noctowl because we still have to get through a shield, and I believe it's still got a ton of HP. I don't remember exactly how much HP. I guess we'll see here in a second. Looks like about 75%. Then I come in with Beedrill. I thought that we had CMP tied and I wanted to throw Beedrill into the Sky Attack, but we did not, and now we've allowed our opponent to super farm up, which really sucks for us. The best we can hope for is that they eventually throw a move, and he does. And we still have a move here on Alolan Muk, and I talked to him afterwards and he said it was a CMP tie, so Alolan Muk looks like it wins that CMP. So we're 3-0 now in this tournament. Our opponent here has an insane team. This team's actually really different from all the other teams in this tournament. So she's got the Azumaril Muk, Alolan Muk core, but a lot of different picks here on the outside. So Munchlax, Medicham, Bronzong, and Noctowl. So we end up in the Muk mirror, and I decide my Muk I need for the rest of the matches. So I decide to shield, and it was actually a gunk shot. She tried to trash can us. This is definitely a Dark Pulse, so we'll just take it. And then we'll farm up a little bit, and then throw the Sludge Wave to see if we can get the KO. And we got it. Perfect. So what is she coming in with? So it is Noctowl. What I probably should have done here was actually come in with Toxicroak, because now we're stuck in the Azumaril mirror, and this is exactly where my Azumaril doesn't want to be. Now, technically I haven't shown Ice Beam to her, but the fact that I'm throwing Hydro Pump means that I do not have Play Rough. And she's definitely going to know that, and I really shouldn't have brought Azumaril anymore after this, but I actually think I bring it all the games. It is really good against her team. It's just bad in the mirror, right? So I have to somehow avoid that mirror. Which, like I said, we could have actually avoided it by coming in Toxicroak against the Noctowl. That might have been a winning play, to be honest. So we come in with Muk. We try to do a combo play here. The Azumaril is very low. She actually ends up shielding it. She comes in with Noctowl. I decide not to shield, because I'm like, oh, well, Toxicroak wins the one shield. The problem is this Noctowl actually had a huge amount of farm before this, so the timing is actually super far off, and I'm going to have to go for the bait as well. But there's probably no way that I get the bait and the Sludge Wave off, so I'm just trying to look at the timer. Maybe I can get there and swap out, do a sack swap for Azumaril, and the timer does come up, but I do not hit the actual sack swap. I don't know if we went too early or she knew the timer was coming up and decided not to throw. But yeah, really good plays by the opponent. She actually also went 6-1 in this tournament. Alright, Bronzong into Beedrill. So this is a tough matchup too. I definitely should come in with Azumaril, but I think I come in with Muk. So really, if you look at our games against Queen of the Cutie, really our swaps were awful. I don't know why I kept swapping into the hard counter instead of the soft counter, but these are like the only matches where that kind of happened. Every other match I did the correct swap and all that. I think what happened is that I started getting super afraid of her Azumaril, and I think she actually did bring it this game as well, of the Azumaril mirror match. But I think if I come in with Azumaril, you don't actually lose that hard, and I could always come back in with Beedrill and finish off the Azumaril, gain a lot of energy, and maybe be able to throw Drill Run at the Bronzong, right? Yeah, thinking about it after, that's definitely something I should have done. But I think at this point, like, it seemed doomed, and maybe I was like tilting. But she actually ended up bringing the Noctowl anyways, so a swap into a Azumaril there would have been so good. Although she has 2 answers to Beedrill, and a third that kind of does okay against Beedrill, which is the Munchlax. So it's a neutral matchup. So Beedrill, definitely not the way to go apparently in this against this opponent. And she's got an extra shield, so I gotta get rid of it. And I think this does get rid of it, but we're way too low. And I think this Psyshock is going to bring us to like 5% or something. Oh no, 15%. But we'll never make it to this Hydro Pump. The Confusions are just doing so much damage over time. Yeah, we're going to go down 0-2 here. This will be our first and only loss of the tournament. Like I said, she also ended up going 6-1, ended up losing only to Tribe Guy, who actually ended up winning the tournament. So Froslass into Alolan Muk. Like I said, it's not a good matchup, obviously, for Froslass, but it's not as bad as you would think, considering the typings. Just because Avalanche is going to be doing so much damage, but we come in with a Azumaril as a safe swap, and then they bring in their Azumaril as well, which, again, they really outplayed us in these games. I don't know. Yeah, not my best showing for sure, but Alolan Muk coming in here, or I should have maybe come in with Alolan Muk is what I meant, because Alolan Muk versus Alolan Muk, well, we would have been down a shield though. Like, yeah, it's just tough. This team is very tough, and like I said, very different looking than most of the teams in the tournament. Almost every other team in the tournament had Hypno Froslass, Beedrill, Azumaril, and Muk, and this team only had the Azumaril and the Muk. So props for building a very different team, and a team that is obviously very good considering. But yeah, we just got... These games are a showcase of how to get absolutely demolished. So if you have these Pokemon that she has and you want to try them out, definitely do that. I think RC Cola, or the RC Cola, was telling me that he's going to make a video of Queen of the Cuties run through the wild card. So definitely catch that if you like this team, because it is very different and she plays it very well. In fact, if he links it to me before this video comes out, I'll put it in the comment. I'll put it in the description. So definitely go check that out. All right, well, we're going to beat the Noctowl here, and then the problem is I think her Muk's going to have enough energy for a double Dark Pulse here after our Sludge Wave. So she's definitely going to survive the Sludge Wave. And then I'm like, should I switch? It didn't matter. It was CMP tie, and I think she's at double Dark Pulse, and that's just the end of that. I was actually one Powder Snow away from having the the Avalanche. So here we are, round 5. Actually, round 4 ended up having a huge dispute, I guess, happen that lasted like an hour. And I had a lot of time to just talk in chat, and people were going off in the chat. I absolutely loved the general chat of this tournament. Everyone was just memeing and, talking. It was great. It was absolutely fantastic banter. Almost like we were in a live tournament. Almost. a real life tournament. I mean, in-person tournament, I should say. All right, sorry. Beedrill against Skuntank. This is actually the first Skuntank I've seen in the tournament. I know before Beedrill Community Day, Skuntank was really everywhere as that poison type that's also pretty neutral against a lot of the field. So I was surprised to only see this one at this point in round 5. But I guess that's what Beedrill does, ends up taking out the Skuntank with the drill run, which we also did. We were able to showcase that actually happened here. So we're in here with Azumaril, and we're obviously not going to get KO'd by this Body Slam. It looks like I'm just going to go straight for a Hydro Pump. Same thing as round 1. I don't want to show the Ice Beam if I don't have to, and this matchup's kind of close enough that I don't really care. And I know that what's in the back is Bronzong, and that Alolan Muk is going to be good against that Bronzong, since we already saw it earlier in the match. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, hide your moves if you can. Definitely worth a surprise later. Hopefully that's like a surprise win. Like you just throw the Ice Beam and they're like, what? I thought he needed another move. I was trying to farm down, and then you end up KOing them. That's definitely one of the corner cases here, or one of the reasons to go Ice Beam Azumaril as well. Just get there faster, better bait opportunity. And then it's also super effective against Noctowl. So game 2, this is a wand lead for us as well. Looks like he ends up catching our Dark Pulse, but it is on Beedrill, and Beedrill's super squishy. I decided I'm going to try to go for the win here on the Beedrill in this matchup, and doesn't end up happening. So I think I'm going to switch out after this drill run. Oh, it's actually an Exeter. I think I'm going to come in with my own Beedrill, and I probably don't shield this. Yeah, because it has a Froslass, I don't want to have to expend a shield here and then just lose the Froslass anyways. So once the Froslass comes in, I'm just going to throw any move at it. I probably should have thrown Drill Run, but either way, we only had time for one move. Definitely should have been the Drill Run though, I agree. We come back in with Muk. He did expend his energy, so we're going to just try to get rid of it, and then I'm going to try to catch an Avalanche. Did not actually catch, but it is a Bronzong in the back, and this is kind of fine anyways. Both of our Mon are good against both of their Mon, so yeah, we're pretty good situation here to take this game. And I think I still have the shield as well, and since this is game 2, I think I'm just going to show the Ice Beam and try to KO this before he gets to another Psyshock. We might not have been able to do that. It wouldn't have mattered because we had the shield, right? But if we didn't have shields, we might not have been able to do that with the Play Rough because the Psyshock would have been on that confusion and would have taken us out. Or it would have been close, but I think it would have taken us out. And I could fast attack down, but no use in risking anything. I'm just going to go for the Dark Pulse on the 1% HP Froslass. So, game 3 here against Munchlax. This Munchlax is really good against us. Probably want to come in with a Azumaril, I would assume, and then try to win the future matchups with energy advantages, because I assume once I bring in this Azumaril that they're going to end up countering anything that I bring in. Alright, Azumaril can eat all these body slams. I'm actually surprised they didn't bring counter, like I was saying, to this Azumaril. They actually ended up just throwing all their moves at it with Munchlax, so this is good for us. It means they don't have an answer to it, and that ours actually is going to be able to take out their Munchlax. But then they come in with Azumaril next, and I'm like, oh, well, that's weird. I mean, we've already shown Ice Beam. The Azumaril definitely would have been a counter. And I'm pretty sure we get KO'd by a Play Rough if they use it right now. I mean, we definitely get KO'd. We're super low. Probably want to come in with Muk. It's not the greatest matchup, especially since I believe they have a 1-bubble lead on us. But we do get that extra Snarl in right there. I'm going to shield everything. Obviously, we don't want Froslass to be against Azumaril. But I'm also wondering what they have in the back. I guess we could beat Bronzong with Froslass. Or Beedrill. Beedrill we could also beat. We actually end up getting the bait there with the Dark Pulse, and I get another Snarl lead right there. I'm just shielding everything. Now, we know the next move isn't going to come for 6 bubbles, but I guess they were hiding actually how much energy they actually had. And I thought I clicked the Sludge Wave, but apparently I threw Dark Pulse, and that's not going to be good. Our Muk is already at like 5% HP in the back, so there's absolutely no way I can beat this Skuntank, even though that Avalanche did so much damage. The problem is it's going to get to a crunch at some point anyways, and then it's just going to be able to fast attack down the Muk here. Luckily, that was game 3, and we already had won the set. Here we go against Wolf Frogachu. And his team's pretty similar to the last one. He does have Medicham, another Medicham user. I don't think we ever saw Medicham used against us, though. It's not very good against us in a general sense. So, Froslass and a Beedrill, obviously that match is really bad for us. Looks like my graphics not correct in the side. There's definitely an Azumaril out right now, so we know who that Pokemon is. It's Azumaril. We actually end up landing a Sludge Wave here. The no baits. And then once I landed, I know I'm good to just go for Dark Pulses, so I'm glad to shield and get a little bit of extra energy while I'm at it. And there it is. Azumaril's in the game, but now he's gone. Just in time. Nice. That's good editing right there. Froslass comes in. I decide I'm going to shield because I can just get to a Dark Pulse since I'm already at it. And probably force the last shield here, right? Especially since... So I think I'm going to try to sack Azumaril. Oh, nice. Catch an Avalanche on Azumaril. That's really good for us. And then they have Bronzong in the back, so this is perfect. We just want to go for the Hydro Pump. And then I believe an Ice Beam might be able to take it out after a Hydro Pump. Oh, but it is... Okay, so this is interesting. I probably will try to go for the Ice Beam, but I bet you they get to a move. Yeah. So technically I haven't shown my moveset yet on Azumaril because I get KO'd. And I think I can just come in with Alolan Muk and farm down if I'm... Yeah. And then throw the Dark Pulse. I actually have 2 Dark Pulses there, so that's kind of a little bit of a risk there, I guess. But I guess I knew the energy counts when it was happening. Alolan Muk Hypno. So I guess I'm really thinking Medicham's coming? Hypno here's a weird choice. I guess I think Azumaril's coming. And we end up winning the lead. I assume that they'll end up switching out after this. Yep, they caught my Dark Pulse with his Azumaril. Really good play by the opponent. I'm going to bring in Hypno. Oh, I remember this game. I go down O2 shields, I believe. Yeah, I don't even need to shield this. I don't know why I do it. I'm like, oh, I'll preserve health on Hypno. But why would I want to do that? Because Froslass is in the back. And then I thought I overfarmed. But I think actually he ends up shielding this and then going... No. Oh, we take out the Azumaril. But we're down 2 shields to none. He does bring in Munchlax. We really can't throw the Shadow Ball at it because it is normal typing. And it's going to be double resisting the ghost moves. So we're just trying to throw as many Thunder Punches as we can. Which is 1. 1 Thunder Punch is all we get. And then I guess I come in with Azumaril. This is actually a really good matchup for Azumaril. Azumaril is really good against Froslass and Munchlax. So I'm keeping the Muk in the back for the Froslass. And I guess I'm just going all Ice Beams now because I need to get shields. And I think an Ice Beam at this range actually probably doesn't KO. Munchlax is super tanky, but it would be close. Munchlax here. Ice Beam here probably does KO from the red. And we do get one off. So he's still got 1 shield. I should switch out immediately. This is a mistake. I should switch out immediately, go into Muk, and try to farm. Although, how low is Muk, actually? Oh, I definitely should have come in with Muk. I think we're going to get double avalanched here, and that's just going to be GG. Especially since he's still got a shield left. All we can do is farm. We can't really throw another move. Because Azumaril is definitely not at a move. But also, Azumaril's at like 5%, so there's absolutely no way we can take out this Froslass. So, game 2 kind of slipped through our hands. Unnecessary shield on the Hypno. Could have saved that shield and really done a lot with it. I decided to throw Azumaril up here on the front because he's probably bringing Azumaril in the back to counter my Azumaril. So I figure what better way to not get countered but to throw it right out front. And Azumaril has pretty neutral matchups against a lot of his team. Even the matchups that are not good, they're okay. And he actually switched in the Azumaril on my Ice Beam bait. Not great for me, but Beedrill's coming in. I'm probably shielding this. Oh no, I guess if I had a Hydro Pump. I remember during the game I thought that they were only at 6 bubbles. So I was like, there's no way this could be Hydro Pump. I'm just going to take the Play Rough because I resist it. But yeah, that's not exactly how that worked out. I was able to get a move off though, which the damage is going to be nice. And we end up taking the Azumaril out there, so pretty good. I think at this point I might be reserved to keep both my shields for the Alolan Muk after this Hydro Pump and just let Azumaril go down. I don't remember this game exactly, but thinking about it as I'm looking at it right now, that seems like something I would like to do. I really like Muk with shields because technically shields count as shield advantage. I'm an idiot. Shields count as energy advantage because you can just soak up a full charge move's worth of energy that they do. So like all of these are for naught, and then I take a huge lead. And it didn't really matter in this matchup, but because Muk just counters Froslass at this point, I just need to land one of the Dark Pulses, and obviously I'm going to have an infinite amount of time with the double shields. But that's how I think of the shields. They're just plus X energy, where X is the number of turns it takes for your opponent to get to a charge move. So if you have a lead in shields, you technically have a ton of lead in energy. So our last matchup is against Purple Kyogre. He is a YouTuber. You probably know him. I'll leave a link to his channel below if you don't, and definitely give him a subscription here on YouTube. So Skuntank, my first thought is he running Flamethrower? I'm guessing yes. So in the Dark Poison mirrors, or Dark Poison matchups, you usually want to throw the Poison move. It does a little more damage. And we actually end up shielding a Crunch, so that's not great. And then he ends up shielding the Dark Pulse. And then I swap out into Azumaril for absolutely no reason. This is a ridiculous play that you should not replicate. We find out he does have Sludge Bomb there, so I'm like, oh, he can't get to another one. Can he? Definitely did. This is already looking really bad because now, oh my gosh, look at that editing. Perfect. Noctowl's back in. So we do have the Ice Beam. He is not ready for it probably. And I think we'll get to another one. So we actually end up taking the shield, or one shield. Oh, the shields are off too. Okay, yeah, he doesn't have any shields. Ignore that. Ignore that stuff on the right side. He has no shields. I also have no shields. And then I decide, okay, what I can do is come farm down on my Toxicroak and then have a ton of energy for whatever he has in the back, which is probably a Azumaril if I were to guess. But it was Munchlax. But he actually had so much energy left on his Noctowl, it didn't really matter. And yeah, this is just going to take us out. He didn't need to throw this move, but, you know, better safe than sorry, like I said for ourselves earlier. We go into an 0-1 hole here, so not great. I decide I'm going to start Froslass, and I all of a sudden believe that Beedrill is, like, insane against his team for some reason. For some reason, in my head, I was like, Beedrill is the absolute answer. Now, we actually win the lead here against Noctowl. This is so good for us. I thought he was going to switch, which is why I brought up my window. He actually ends up staying in. So I'm like, okay, I'll throw this Avalanche. If it lands, it's going to absolutely devastate you. And right here I shield because I'm like, it could be the Nightshade. I don't know how much damage it does because I really haven't done any practice in this cup. And then he swaps out into Bronzong here while I throw my Avalanche. Perfect swap by Purple Kyogre here. But I have Muk in the back, so I'm going to force him to either shield or never even throw a charge move on this Bronzong. It's something I really like to do. If you can beat them to their own charge move, they usually shield because they want to feel like that Pokemon did something. And we're able to farm up even more now because we shielded the Bulldoze. So I think if he shielded there, maybe he should have just gone for the Psyshock and then done a double Psyshock, even though it wouldn't do a ton of damage. It would still do some damage, you know. He didn't end up getting any of the charge move damage off, so. Comes in with a Noctowl. We need to get rid of this Noctowl, obviously, because Beedrill is going to have really bad time with it. And he ends up having Skuntank in the back, so Beedrill is going to be really good. Oh, I remember why I bought Beedrill now, because most people have Skuntank. They always bring Skuntank as the safe swap. Obviously, we saw game 1, he used it in the front, which made me think even more that he was going to use it as his safe swap in the second game. So we throw the X-Scissor here just to finish out the match, but it didn't really matter. We could have probably just Poison Jabbed it down. Without Flamethrower, it's not going to do too much damage to Beedrill. We actually resist the Sludge Wave, and then the Crunch doesn't do... I mean, it does like half damage, I think, or 50% of your HP. So... Game 3 here, he starts Munchlax, we start Beedrill. This matchup's pretty good for Beedrill. You do have to land a Drill Run. So we end up going for the bait there, he doesn't fall for it, and I decide, you know what, I'm just going to go X-Scissor all the way. Weird swap there. I tried to swap, I guess, but ends up throwing this move. And once it throws this move, I'm like, okay, he's shielded. Let's just stay in this matchup. Let's see if I can get all the X-Scissors off. We might be able to beat him if he goes for a Bulldoze. If he goes for Body Slams, we probably just lose. I'm sure he's got up to 2 Body Slams at this point. So once he threw that Bulldoze, I was like, oh, I for sure can win this starting matchup. And then I can swap into whatever I want in the back, because both of those are bad against Munchlax, and they're probably going to be decent against whatever's left. And I go for the soft counter. Obviously, Froslass is the hard counter to Noctowl, but Muk also beats Noctowl. Plus, if I gain all this energy advantage against whatever's in the back, I'm going to have a good time. And it ends up being the Skuntank in the back, and yeah, we have the Sludge Wave. And I think we're probably going to be able to get to another Dark Pulse here. Maybe. No, because the Crunch probably takes us out. So this matchup's actually a little closer than I remember. It looks like we're going to come back in with Beedrill, and the X-Scissor is going to do a lot of damage. It is neutral, but probably not KO it. Oh, there we go. And then I want to swap out as soon as possible to get into this Noctowl matchup and not let him farm. And that's pretty much it for this game. The Avalanche is going to KO it. And yeah, we ended up going 6-1 in this tournament. I'm really surprised because I did literally 0 practice games for this tournament. I made the team about 30 minutes before the tournament happened. It seems pretty clear cut though. It's very, very Open Great League-esque. A lot of things aren't banned, and you can make a team basically out of the strongest Pokemon. They all have different coverages. Yeah, shout out to Tribe Guy, who ended up being the victor. And thanks to Silph for even having a wild card to try to get in for Continental's bid. So yeah, thanks again for everyone for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.